So let's crack straight on with what I'm calling here the first Persian invasion, leading up to the Battle of Marathon, the first big battle between the Athenians and the mainland Greeks and the Persians. So we'll learn about the lead up to the first invasion and understand the Persian plan. It's quite a radical plan at the time, and develop some source analysis skills. Keywords are reconnaissance. If you're going to have a look at a place before you go and invade it or attack it, it's called reconnaissance, spying, finding out. Apocryphal. Apocryphal is a tall tale, something that people think at the time is true, but later on, but that can't be right. Surrender. Thrace is a place. Bridgehead, Laconic, already mentioned that. Fleet, Phoenicia, it's a place within the Persian Empire. Trinary, sort of ship. Amphibious, going from the sea to the land, amphibious. Eritrea, an island. Athens, Datis, Artaphernes, two Persian generals. So, it's the Ionian Revolt, last lesson. The Ionians burned down Sardis, the capital, in Ionia. They're helped by the Athenians and the Eritreans. The news reaches Darius. He is not very happy. He asks a servant about these Athenians. Who are they? And when he's told about them, he grabs his bow, fires an arrow, and swears revenge on them. And he gets a servant to say to him at mealtimes every day, Master, remember the Athenians. Every day, Master, remember the Athenians. And what we're going to look at now is this true? We're going to look at it in Herodotus. Here he is. We're going to look at his part of his book where it says this. And have a think about, well, how true is this story? How reliable is Herodotus here? We're going to think about it in class. Right, recon. The Persians know next to nothing about Greece. The Athenians, the Spartans, they've heard some names, but they're not very sure. So they send, according to Herodotus, they send a reconnaissance mission, but not like this. They don't send soldiers. Darius sends ambassadors for a visit to their friends, the Greeks, and they sail up and down the Greek coast, visiting various cities, having banquets and talks. And in fact, what's happening is they're having a reconnaissance. They're seeing what's what, what's where, who's who. 492 BC, a couple of years after the revolt ends, the Persians send, Darius sends Mardonius, a relative of his, a general, a young man at this point. And Mardonius aims to conquer what we call northern Greece, a place called Thrace. Look on your map. You'll see Thrace is that part of land between the Persian Empire and the Greeks. And Mardonius succeeds in conquering that area. He also makes Macedon, the area just to the north of Greece, into a sort of vassal state, is the word we'd use, a vassal state, talk about that in class. He himself, though, is badly wounded during this campaign. Had it not for that, Mardonius would have been back. He'd have led the big invasion, but he was so badly wounded that we don't hear about him again for another 10 years. But Bridgehead, it now means the Persians control lands to the north of Greece. They haven't got to cross any sea, they can just march there. 490 BC, earth and water. The Persians send messengers to all the Greek cities, asking for their surrender, asking for earth and water. The Athenians chuck them into the pit of punishment, it's referred to as. The Spartans, under their king Cleomenes, chuck them down a well and say, you'll find plenty of water and earth down there. Again, we're going to look at Herodotus to see where this comes up and have a think about how true this might be. But certainly, remember, this is from 300, King Leonidas did not chuck Persians down a well. King Cleomenes did, the brother of Leonidas. So, Persians have asked for earth and water. By the way, they've received it from loads of Greek cities. So they set off with a massive fleet. Herodotus says 600 ships, that might be exaggeration, to attack the Greeks by sea. This is an extremely unusual plan. So this plan was very bold because they had to cross the sea. If you look at the map, they had to cross the sea directly to get to Eritrea and Athens. And at this point in history, ships very rarely went across open sea. It was very dangerous. Triremes, the warships they had, were quite fragile. But anyway, they planned to take an army of about 30,000 men, including cavalry, directly across the sea to attack Eritrea and Athens. Capture or destroy, no one's quite sure what the Persian plan was. Conquer or punish, not quite certain yet.